big breath in. Let yourself soak that in. Then we'll press the palms gently in towards each other, thumbs to the breastbone. And with an exhale, gently bow, honoring the power, strength, and ease within yourself and all around. And then we'll gently lift our crown of our head, and we're going to go ahead and rub these hands together. We're starting with ease, so we want to bring an energy of ease and comfort right into our own hands. You might bring to your mind's eye a beloved auntie or uncle, maybe an animal that you love and cherish, and what it's like to be in their presence. Bring some of that quality right into your own hands. Then we're going to invite that to caress our whole space, starting from the head down to the toes. So I'm going to give some nice taps to the crown of my head. Some of this comforting, loving energy. I'm going to swipe the forehead, letting it open. Sometimes as we get older, the forehead closes like curtains. And you'll notice babies have these wide open foreheads. We're going to brush the forehead open. Brush the cheekbones open. Brush the jaw gently down. Let it relax. We're going to give both sides of the neck a nice little rub. It's easier actually, one side at a time, I find. Letting that lymph node here behind the ear, encouraging it to drain down towards the heart. Comfort in your own hands. And try that other side 3 or 4 times. Drawing. Comfort. Down. Then I'm going to take hold of my elbow and give myself some nice swipes here. Nice reassuring. You can go slower or be a little more rough if you prefer a rough style of comfort, whatever feels comforting. If you can make that nice descending like I did, that's wonderful. Now we're going to get this armpit and come on down the side. Those of you who are my regular students, we do this a lot. Getting this lymph node and patting down the side. Any of your flesh feels tender today, if any of your tissue is tender, use a much lighter touch. Okay, listen to your own body. We'll come to the other side. I'm cupping my hands here at the armpit. Inviting that lymph node to drain. Okay, and women, this is a really good one for the breast tissue. You want to swipe from the sternum towards the armpit. Again, only if you're not feeling tender today. Do that on the other side. Make sure you're doing your breast self-massage. You can watch YouTube links to show you how to do that. I'm going to charge my hands up now with a little bit more comforting energy, and we're going to go around our waist like a swishy silk scarf with both hands. So I'm going to really make contact and let myself come all the way around. You can even use the backs of your hands as you're coming around. Nice descending sounds. We're going to be coming down to the ground slowly, and so that's why we're doing this with our hands. We're coming from the head down. Oops, forgot our arms. I'm going to come back to the arm, patting down the top and down the bottom of the arm. Other side. This builds such a strong immune system. Really helps us out. Then we're going to come on down, back of the hip. Just do this your way. okay? Do this your way. Just make sure when you get to the knees that you use round movements. I'm going to encourage the round joints to be round and the long bones to be long. Coming on down, patting the top of the foot, back of the heel, and then trying that other side, the back of the hip, starting to come down. Round at the knee, back of the knee, sides of the knee. Gosh, knees are important. Sweeping down, sweeping the foot. Anytime you can make that sound, please do. And then we'll gently roll back up. Give these hands one more nice charge with your energy of comfort and love. And then we'll place one hand lightly atop the tip top of your head and one hand at the heart, giving yourself a nice little 1 or 2 pounds of pressure here. Just notice any sensations you're aware of right now. Sensations only happen in the present moment. So they're a great hack for anxiety or depression, both of which tend to take us out of the present, out of our power. And then we're going to release that. We're going to find our way all the way down to our mats for a sequence that will really help us move our life force energy around the body. So I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see the direction of this movement really, really easily. So the feet are going to be planted. We're going to be coming into some twists to either side. And the first thing we're going to do is clasp our own elbows and just allow the elbows to fall to the left while you look to the right. And just notice what that feels like. And then breathe in, coming center, and exhale to the second side. Feeling what the weight of the elbows feel like as they fall away. And then we'll come into a little bit of a flow. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's do that 3 more times, just like that. In. Letting your inhale initiate your movement. Twice more both ways. Looking in the opposite direction. Last ones. And then we'll come center. And this time we're going to let the elbows and the knees go in opposite directions. And we're going to go look in the direction of the elbows. You know, that's a little bit of a brain teaser. Breathing in, drawing everything to the center. Breathing out, elbows and nose to the right, knees to the left. Let's do that 4 more times. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in. If anything doesn't feel right, please be creative. Play with it and do it your way. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Last 2 to each side.
draw everything back to the center. Release your elbows. Turn your palms down to the ground and take a big breath in, sweeping the arms long overhead and exhaling. You could add a bridge pose here, stepping the feet under the knees if you would like to, breathing in. Otherwise, just the arms moving in time with the breath. So we're lengthening the breath, which will also help slow the rhythm of your thoughts and also improve the quality of your thoughts and your oxygen levels. 3 more rounds. Keeping your gaze straight up towards the sky if you can, not at the camera. 2 more rounds. Exhaling fully and deeply. Last one. Beautiful. Let's sweep the knees in towards the chest. I'm going to take hold behind the knees and let myself gently rock side to side, kind of smoothing out the waistband of your pants. Letting the back contours rock and roll in a way that feels good. You might even circle the knees. Change direction. And then we're going to find our way onto our bellies. So to do that, you might just roll to one side, easing up to seated, and then spread yourself out. We're going to prop ourselves up on our elbows for just a second. So if this gives your back any trouble, you might want to come just a little bit lower if it's too much of a back bend for you. If your life is sedentary at all, which even just driving, then this might be a challenge, and it's also extra beneficial for that reason. So we're going to let the elbows prop, the palms are spreading, and I'm going to let the sternum start to point. The bottom of the sternum will start to go towards the earth as the top starts to go up towards the sky. So I'm gently drawing the bottom ribs forward, and it's fine to let the shoulders come up towards the ears and draw back away. Feeling what that's like, it's a slightly different variation, or you might stay more like one of those meerkats that's looking up out across the prairie, I think it is. Feeling the breath move through Sphinx pose, picturing that regal cat in Egypt. Feeling where the breath moves. And then we'll ease all the way down, taking the elbows wide now. Let the hands stack. Let the forehead rest. And while we're here, we're going to lengthen the right leg way away from you. Breathing in and out. Knee is long, as though you could open the crease behind the knee. One more full breath. Low, long leg. Breathing out. Then come on back up onto those elbows. Take a full breath in. And let the breath all the way out, stacking the hands. This time that left leg is going to reach away. 2 full breaths. Lengthen that leg down. And now I'm going to take the back of my left hand to the back of my sacrum. Right arm is going to reach forward. And then on an inhale, I'm going to sweep the right arm and the leg away from each other. My ear stays next to my bicep. And as I exhale, I'm going to change arms. Then I'm going to breathe in, lengthening, keeping the ear low. And exhale, easing back down, changing arms. Let's go 3 more times. Long and low. Exhaling. Two more rounds. Smooth, steady breath. Last round, y'all. Keeping that ear low next to the bicep. Then we're going to send everything out, getting really long for 2 full breaths. Imagine reaching, lengthening the tailbone towards the heels. And let's bring those hands down next to the chest. We're going to hug the elbows in close and press up into all fours. And exhale the hips back away from the hands. So for some folks, that's right here in a puppy pose. Hips above the knees. For other folks, they can walk the hips all the way back towards the heels and rest the elbows. 3 breaths in child or puppy. Really invite the breath to nourish your tissues and your spine. Invite the breath into the spine for 2 more rounds of breath. Feeling what you feel. One more breath right there in your child's pose. And then we're going to walk right back out into an all fours position. And I'm going to walk my left hand over the left, and I'm going to come, actually, all the way down onto the hand, and the right foot is going to step out to the right. I might come up on my fingertips. This works a little bit better for me. Depends on the length of your legs. We're going to just feel what this is like to balance here and to breathe. As we inhale, we might take that right arm all the way up overhead. As we exhale, we might press the palm all the way back down. Some of you are very comfortable here. If you have any knee trouble, you may not enjoy putting weight on this knee. And if that is the case, I'm going to show you a different alternative that's standing. So I'll show you that in just a second. Let's breathe in, breathing out. Continue doing that if you're fine on your knee. If you are not and you're going to be standing, you'll need a prop. I do not have on hand. To rest right underneath that left hand, right? And you would be right here, inhaling and exhaling. So last one, breathing in and breathing out. Then whichever variation you're doing, we're going to take a minute to pause here and breathe into the shape that you now are. And then lower that foot if you're down on the ground. Reach the arm all the way overhead, breathing into this shape. And then slowly helping yourself back into all fours position. Or a tabletop pose if you're using a prop. So tabletop would just mean standing, leaning over with your hands on the chair. Breathing in, expanding the heart center, and exhale, rounding the heart way up into the space between the shoulder blades. Twice more, inhaling, letting the belly drop towards earth, letting the gaze lift. And exhale, opening your Halloween cat back up. Last one. And then we'll come around to that second side, walking the right hand out to the right and the left foot out to the left. My toes are pointing the same direction as my nose. So I've got that whole left foot. Maybe this leg is floating if you're comfortable doing that, or you might be standing with the right hand on the couch or the back of a chair. We'll inhale, reaching into the left leg and reaching through the left arm. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Feel the ease and the strength in this movement. Last one. Some of you have this leg floating. And we'll let that foot ground if it's floating, and take a big reach up overhead, letting that left rib cage bow towards the sky. And then slowly letting this hand find its way back into all fours position, or a standing tabletop. Breathing in, spreading the sitting bones away from each other, taking the nose away from the sternum. Exhale, gazing towards the belly button. Twice more through cat and cow. Then we'll find a nice neutral table. Walk your hands one hand further forward. Spread your hands. Shift your weight out over those hands. And then see if you can lift one kneecap at a time and make a long straight line in plank pose. Spreading all 10 toes, breathing in. And then let those legs bend but not touch the ground as we reach the hips high and let the head dive down. As though you were on a big swing set. And you could gaze at the sky between your thighs, really squeezing the shins towards each other and the thigh bones away from each other. Legs are as bent as you need them to be. I'll show that from the side. The heels do not necessarily touch the ground. Everybody's different, but the head hangs. The arms reach into the earth. The heels reach away from you and back. Back and maybe a little down. Let's come forward on your next inhale. We'll just flow through. This is that ease, tuning into ease, to tune into strength. What additional tension can you let go of so that you can perform? Breathing in to draw forward. Breathing out. The breath initiates your movement. Last round. Then we're going to walk hands and feet towards each other and begin to roll all the way up through the spine. And we'll come to stand at the front of the mat if you're not already there. So we're going to bring back in our Warrior One with an ah sound that we've been practicing many of our classes here. The reason this is in and of itself a yoga practice. If you remembered only one pose to do and you really want ease as well as strength, this is the one to do. So to come into it, you might do it the fancy way, the way we do in here, breathing in and then stepping back. You can also just go ahead and step back into a lunge and turn and plant that back heel. Check that your two hip points can face forward. We're not facing out to the side for this pose. So you've got left foot on the left half of the mat, right foot on the right half of the mat. And then we're going to say our ahs as we bring the elbows into cactus pose. So breathing in. Ah. Beautiful. Next one, the elbows are going to pull right in beside us. So breathe in, palms to the sky. Last time we're going to do both. reaching it back. And then exhale, take your weight over the front foot to help yourself transition into mountain. And take a moment here to just harvest the way that that felt. To move breath and sound through the spine, through the chest. All right, let's try that second side. Breathing in, shifting the weight on to the left leg if you're following along with me. Exhale, back into the lunge. I'm taking my left foot to the left and my right foot to the right. And inhale. Palms to the sky. Pivot that back heel straight back to the back wall. Breathing in. Exhale, tilting the weight forward. Knees all the way into mountain pose. Let's let the hands come to the front of the belly center. And with an inhale, spread them wide, letting the heart lift and spread. And exhale, just bring them right back in to touch. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhaling right down into the belly center. We're charging the belly with life force. Twice more. Beautiful. Now we're going to step wide, so I'm going to step back because I've got these 2 mats. I can spread them out side to side. And we're going to set up for 2 variations of triangle pose. So lengthen the side body. So for the first one, all 10 toes are going to face same direction as my nose. And that's going to limit my range side to side, but it's going to give us a little extra stretch and strength for the side body. Second variation will actually tilt into the hips, so you'll get a little bit more opening down into the legs. But this first one, really just want to find length and space in all of the breath space of this upper body. Let's actually circulate the hips and ankles a few times before we do that. I've got my knees bent and I'm letting my tailbone go in all directions. I'm going to change 3 times the other way. Getting all that energy unstuck, connected, pelvis connecting down into the feet, keeping you nice and grounded. Then we'll lengthen the legs into the earth. And then I'm going to start by going to my right. My hips are going to stay put, but I'm going to slowly, actually let's keep the right hand right here on the pelvis so it stays upright. I'm going to inhale the arm long overhead. Notice I'm not really tipping my pelvis yet. And I'm going to exhale as though I were pulling a shade down with my fist. Breathing in. Exhale, pulling. Coming through cactus and beyond. Let's go again like that. Then we'll breathe in, getting really long. And exhale. Keep the arm long and come all the way to the center. Now we'll go right into the second variation by turning that right foot open. Check that your knee's not turning in and your foot out. The hip dictates the knee, which dictates the foot. Everything flows outwards in terms of what our range is. Let the hip dictate. So as you rotate your thigh open, that's where the knee and the foot will stop turning. When the hip says stop. Spread the toes, reach them out and down to the ground. Gently lift the kneecaps. You're not jamming the knee down. It has a slight lift to it. And this time, watch my right hand. I'm actually going to send this hip to the left. I'm going to take that hip way over to the left, but not by caving the knee in or back. The knee stays where it is, pretty much, while the hip goes in and the waist goes out to the right. Then I'm going to take my right hand and spread it pressing it into my inner thigh so that my knee and my hand move into each other, creating an isometric strength pose. I feel really supported there. Some of you are a little bit more bendy and you might be able to come out, but please not by falling forward. So if you watch me to the side, you'll see that this position is not a forward fold. It's actually just a side bend. Left hand can stay on the hips, or it might come forward and press gently into the space. Again, I'm not doing this. I'm almost like a rock climber, hugging a wall, breathing. Standing your ground. Breathing with ease. Take another smooth breath in. Use your exhale to ride the wave of the breath all the way back up. Hands down to the hips. Turn all 10 toes in the same direction. And we'll get ready to go to the left side. All 10 toes facing the same direction as the nose. Keeping the left hand on the hip and the hips right where they are. I'm going to just check out my side bend here and slowly inhale. My big open right palm, exhale, a little pull. Not much weight on this hand. Now this next time we'll inhale, the arm will stay out. As we come up, exhale. Feel the spine recovering right over the pelvis. And then we'll turn that left foot open now. Back arch and front heel are lined pretty much right up in front of each other. But feel free to change that if something doesn't feel stable or correct about it. And then check that that hip is deciding where the knee and foot go. So we're all in agreement, like train on a good track. And then we'll start to take that left hip towards the right, but not by letting that knee move out of alignment. You'll feel some lengthening start to happen, and then we'll press the back of the hand into the inner leg. Wherever you need to be, not a lot of weight down on this leg. We're really using the strength of your own power to be here. And then maybe adding this arm if your spine says it's okay. Otherwise, the hand stays here. If you need a little bit more challenge, the arm can go all the way overhead. Breathing. You might even want to swim with this arm. Always welcome to play. You get to decide. It's your bod. This will be our last full breath. Then we'll breathe in to get long. We'll use the exhale to come out of the pose. Exhale. Hands to the hips, all 10 toes forward. And then from here, bring the heels in, just about 45 degrees. And from here, we'll sink the hips into goddess pose. And again, just check that the hips are comfortable with where the knees are, and the knees are comfortable with where the feet are. One nice line here. Let's allow the wrists to cross right here in front of the belly. And as you breathe in, lengthen the legs, spreading the arms and crossing high overhead. Exhale, fanning down, feeling the knee and the hips gliding in good alignment. Breathing in, breathing out. This is sometimes called sunflower, which is a very apt pose for the last Tuesday in August. Let's do one more, y'all. Then we'll stay here for just a second, letting those arms come into a cactus pose. And inhale, lengthen all the way up. I'm going to turn those toes forward, heels, toes in, and take a nice, easy standing twist. Watch what my feet do when I do this twist. There must be a dance move where you're doing this.
But the heels are gonna come up so that your pelvis can start to come around. So I'm gonna let my arms swish and swish. And like tassels, they're gonna just gently tap my body. If your balance is a little precarious, you can keep your gaze forward. That's unwinding some tension out of the body. Last one to each side. And then just let those arms naturally unwind. All right, now we're going to do a balance pose before we come down. So I'm going to show this one to the side. So what I'm going to do is bring my hands onto my hips. I'm going to step out onto my left leg. So you can try this with me. Step out onto your left leg, reaching your right arm forward, just like walking. And then from there, I'm going to just start to tilt. And what we want to do is pull that left hip back slightly while the right arm reaches forward. And then you might bend into the leg a little bit and see if you can lengthen the wrist and the ankle away from each other for a nice warrior 3 pose. It's okay for that right leg to open a little bit. Lots of teachers teach this different ways. We're going to use an inhale to come up, lengthening up. And exhale your hand all the way down. And I'm going to step back so I can try it again on the other side. So this time I'm going to step onto the right foot with the left arm reaching forward. So I'm going to reach forward with the right foot and the left arm coming way out. Just pausing here, bending the leg, squaring the hip, pulling the right hip back, and then start to lengthen the heel and the wrist, the fingertips and toes. See where you might find some ease. Then inhale to come all the way up and exhale back to mountain pose. Let's take a moment to feel this mountain pose with some easy swaying hands. Letting the knees gently bend and lengthen, letting the head bob. So that was a little bit of a challenging sequence there. Tapping into our strength means putting it to the test, right? One way we know that we have it is we test it out in a gentle way. 3 more of these nice swings. And then we'll let the hands come together in prayer pose right here at the sternum. Inhale, reach the palms down, wide and high, lifting the gaze. Exhale, let's bow forward, letting those legs bend as much as you need to, letting the hands touch the thighs. Breathing into a long, flat back, floating the head. And let's exhale to walk the hands forward, walk the shins back, settle the shins down. We're going to find our way onto our backs now. It's time to start to wind down with a nice, easy flow. And I'll show this to the sides. We're going to find our way onto our backs, bring the hands along the hamstrings and guide the knees in towards the belly. Allow yourself to gently rock side to side, once again smoothing out the waist band of your pants along the mat. So we're going to let the knees stay right here. We're going to let the arms spread out into a nice T. And then we're going to inhale the feet up to the sky. And exhale, fold them back in with the hands. Breathing in, feet to the sky, arms to the sides. Exhale. 3 more times.
They don't have to go straight. And we'll let those arms just spill to the side. And exhale your legs all the way down to the right. Let them touch the ground. Then we'll breathe in and lengthen this leg away from us. Should feel good. Only lengthen as much as feels right. Exhale, let them bend right back in. Breathing in to the center and exhale to the second side. Inhale, lengthen that top leg. Exhale, let it rebend. Inhale, back to the center. And again to that first side. Exhale. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Last one. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the right. Exhale, let that leg rebend. And inhale to the center. And we'll just breathe in, taking those feet up once more. Turn the ankles 3 times each direction. Aerating the toes. Then we'll invite those thighs back in, and one at a time, let them lengthen away from you. We're coming right in to final relaxation. So if there's any lumbar pain, a cushion behind the thighs will feel good, or even resting the calves on a chair. Legs can go up the wall if you prefer that. Take a moment to spread your arms to walk the shoulder blades in underneath you and then completely let go. That will really give the neck and the head a little breather. Swallow and then relax the jaw. Let the eyes gently close. Easy jaw, easy eyes receding to the back of the skull. Especially since you've been looking at a screen, let the eyes seem to melt like butter on a pancake. Ears going slack. Rib cage going slack. Float your attention down to the belly and let it stay there for 3 or 4 breaths. Feeling the tide wash in and out. Start to notice the body is simply being breathed without any effort on your part. if your mind starts drifting down familiar pathways, you might gently take a pause to learn and look upriver to where the thought came from. A place deep within yourself that is still and knowing. And just watch the river. I am watching the time for you so that you don't have to be here another minute and a half, just soaking and enjoying. Before we leave this place of repose, take a moment to simply trust your experience. Feel what you know to be true. James Baldwin teaches that trusting ourselves is the only way to live in integrity in the world. We have to know where we're coming from. Let the breath start to deepen down the lungs, down the belly, down the legs, into the feet, and let your toes gently wiggle and stretch. And then start to bring those feet to the floor one at a time. And roll to your right side, keeping those eyes gently closed. And still keeping them gently closed, make your way comfortably as you can to a seated position on the floor or in a chair, wherever you may be. And we'll formally close our practice by bringing one hand to the center chest and another hand to the center belly, really grounding in our own goodness. We're going to bow to that goodness, trusting our goodness and light. And I want to thank you, along with the staff here at UPP Knowledge Quest, for spending an hour taking good care of yourself. What a great gift you give your community by doing so. And with that, thank you so much. Hope that you each have such a wonderful rest of your day today. We look forward to seeing you for 2 Tuesdays. I like that. 2 Tuesdays in September. Thanks so much, y'all.